Hello there viewers, and welcome back to another video today here in real life. Yes, that's right, you join me in real life for the long awaited karting videos that I've been banging on about forever. And well, you join me at Butmore Park Kart Circuit for the inaugural ever round of the Sub 51 Racing Series. So for those of you that don't know what's going on, if you don't know what Sub 51 is, basically this series, it was set up by a guy called Matt Rogers, who used to be the marketing director down at Butmore, and he used to, like, every year used to hold one or two fun races just for him and his mates. And then for 2019, which is when this video, when this footage was recorded, decided to turn those fun races into an actual proper series called the Sub 51 Racing Series, and that is what I am racing in here. So Butmore Park, it is a kart circuit in Kent for my international viewers, and it is a track where I've basically grown up. This place, it is where I've spent my childhood, been racing here ever since the age of 8, been a regular customer ever since, and staff as well for the last 4 years. So this place holds a huge place in my heart, and well, we're just exiting the pits now for the start of practice. The format for Sub 51, certainly for this first round, was a 15-minute warm-up session, which is what you've got going on now, 15-minute practice warm-up, followed by a 30-minute race. So 15-minute warm-up, 30-minute race, and it's basically a reverse grid. So you've got the good drivers starting at the back and the not so good drivers starting at the front. And well, I'm going to move ahead now to my fastest lap of this warm-up session, and it ended up being my fastest lap of the day as well. So heading out of Garda then, on lap 6 of practice. In these karts around this circuit, in the wet, the technique is to go around the outside of corners to begin with, because that is where the grip is, and then you want to rotate the kart and cut back to the inside of the corner as you exit it. So heading up to turn 1 then, up into Conways, you want to be braking just at post 1 on the left hand side, and then head around the outside of Conways and then cut back to the inside for Henry's Bend. For hairpin 1 up ahead, braking just after a change in the tarmac, and then again rotating the kart, pretty much stopping on the outside of the first hairpin, and then cutting back to the inside on corner exit. Again, same story for hairpin 2, so turning on the outside and then cutting back to pretty much the apex of the corner as you get the power down. Through the S's, going to take the middle line through the first part of the S's, and then through the second part, taking as much curb as possible without hitting the barriers. Then through Science Sweep, going to go around the outside of there, and then for Pullman's, again around the outside, before cutting back to the left hand side for post 6. For post 6, again stopping the kart pretty much just like the hairpins, and then cutting back to the inside on exit, getting the power down as best as possible. And for Garda, braking just before a change in tarmac, and then coming out of Garda, you want to be cutting that geo block as much as you possibly can. Try and take the curb as well through Cartship Corner before Cafe Curb, going right around the outside of the Cafe Curb before you come up to the start finish line. And that lap was a 1 minute 8.1. which I was very, very happy with at the time. Ended up being the fastest lap of the day by anybody, and it put me 1.6 seconds clear of everybody in practice. So very happy with that lap indeed. The grid for this event, it is a reverse grid race. So yeah, you've got the slow drivers at the front with then the really fast drivers at the back. The guys you need to look out for are the Bridle brothers. So you've got Ed Bridle and you've got Chris Bridle starting behind us. And, well, I'm going to bring up a picture of them on screen here. They are identical twins, and I honestly, when I seen them face to face, have not got a clue who is who, and I've known them now for about 2-3 years. Still haven't got a clue who's who. The only way you can tell is by the names on the suits. So yeah, got the Bridle brothers starting behind me. Now the Bridles, when this was recorded, they were racing in the Fun Cup UK series, which is a series that some of you may be familiar with, and they nowadays race in Britcar. So they are teammates to Jimmy Broadbent in the Britcar series. They are Praga factory drivers. So we've got some quite good drivers in this race up against us. Got some very talented drivers to race against. And moving ahead to the race start, we are starting in 12th place on the grid with the Bridles right behind us. The graphics on screen will update at the end of every lap. So you've got that position counter up in the top left. That will update every time I've got across the start finish line, and then obviously the lap count will update as well every time we get across the line. Now parking up on the grid here, in front of us we have got Joe Tomlinson, and then in front of him you've got well, no other than my dad. There's no other way to put it. I've got my dad, yeah, 2 rows in front of me. So a bit odd saying that, to be honest. Does feel a bit strange, but sitting here on the grid. By the way, the reason why I'm taking the outside lines around corners is because in the wet, like it is today, the dry line, the normal racing line, becomes super duper slippery because of the rubber that is embedded into the tarmac. So you get rubber that gets compacted down into the tarmac, and what happens when it rains is that rainwater just sits on top of that rubber, and it's just, there's no grip at all. You can't kind of get grip into the circuit at all. So that is why we are going to be going around the outside of the corners. And the race start, with it being a standing start, it has a reputation for being carnage, certainly in this series in sub 51. So yeah, wince is usually the technique on the first lap. Just put your foot down and hope that nothing happens, hope that nobody crashes into you. But we've got the marshal at the front here, we've got the legend that is James doing the visors down as we wait for the race to begin. So looking at the red lights then, on the top left you can just about see them over the top of Joe's right shoulder, and well, you're waiting for the green lights. So as we sit here and we wait, the green lights then come on and away we go. Got a decent launch off the line. In fact, we've got a very good launch off the line, got a good reaction there. Also being lightweight does help. And heading down now into convoys, we've already made up about 6-7 places here, and we're already up into, I think, about P5. Now heading down into hairpin 1, is there going to be any carnage? Yes there is, as the car in front goes spinning off. We're now all the way up into second place already, as we now get pushed off the circuit out of hairpin 1 going into hairpin 2. Is this going to be clean? No, it is not. It is not going to be clean, because unfortunately I got taken out by Ed Bridle, who I believe was hit into me. So I'm going to bring up the replay here from race control. Apologies by the way for there not being any audio for this clip. So you're looking for me in the yellow crash helmet as I'm just about to come into shot now. So looking at me in the yellow crash helmet, you can see already got a good start and up. Everybody's inside through Conways, and well, heading down into hairpin 1, that's what you want to look out for. So as we approach hairpin 1 then, look at the carts behind me as I send it up the inside of a load of people. Have a look at this, as I'm 5 abreast here, coming out of hairpin 1, got completely shoved off the circuit there. Heading down now into hairpin 2, you can see the carts behind me. Yeah, just a domino effect really, just a big scrunching up of carts. I was at the front of the train and I was the one that ended up being the victim. So we've been spun out there, down to last place, so not a good start to our championship charge, and well, going to cut back on board here. Like I say, we're in last place and a fair distance behind the pack in front. Fortunately though, in sub 51 there is, let's say, a mixture of abilities, and so going down to post 6 now, we're going to go around the outside of Dan Crackett in front of us, and well, nothing to see here, there's nothing to see. I definitely didn't just use the red runoff area to make up 3 positions. Now go around the outside of more carts at Garda, we've got spinners off to the right, we've got 2 people spun out, we've just gone flying past our dad on the right, and now as we come out of centre curve, we have, well, in this opening lap we have gone from 12th place on the grid to 2nd by the time we got to hairpin 1, down to 15th, and now as we start lap 2 we are already back up into 7th place. So yes, quite an eventful opening lap now. We've got Joe Tomlinson on our left hand side now, we're on his inside heading down into hairpin 1. We've now managed to make the move stick. We've got Mark the Murderer Neil spun off in front of us, and well, what carnage this opening lap and a bit has been. So many things have happened. We've spun out, we've had a million spinners in front of us, we've overtaken tons of people, we may or may not have cut the circuit to make up a couple of positions, and we are now back into 5th place. So yes, lots of carnage. Kind of the norm in Sub 51 as well. You'll come to see that in the coming videos. There is quite a lot of this. It's quite a, like I say, a mixture of abilities in this series. You've got people like me and the Bryder brothers who know exactly what they're doing, and other people who, let's say, don't know what they're doing. Just really don't. Now in front of us we've got Matt Rogers, the organiser. He's a bit all over the place, to be honest, and he's losing quite a lot of time here. We've got Adam Walker, fellow organiser, right in front of us now. Are we going to be able to get past Adam? He is the sales guy at Buckmore. He's now gone off to the right. I think we are now past him. He's gone out of shot at least anyway. Got no radar in real life, unfortunately, so you can't tell when people are alongside you. We've now got Matt on our left hand side. Looks like we've managed to make our way past him as well. Yes, we have. So now within what, 2 laps we've already managed to get back up into P3. So this has been quite a charge now, back through the pack, having started being down in last place just here 2 laps ago, now back up into P3. Keep an eye on Ed Bridle up ahead of us as we now speed through the rest of this lap. have a look at Ed as we do reel him in basically over the course of this third lap of the race. And now as we get to the start of lap 4, we are very close to Ed Bridle. So yeah, managed to catch him up a lot on that lap. And coming out of Henry's Bend now, we are very close to him here. We are close to being in the range of going for a move. We're not far off him now. Coming out of hairpin 1, we've got the undercut as we take the narrow line out of hairpin 1, but no, Ed is still in front of us. Can we undercut him out of hairpin 2? Again, we're taking a bit more of a narrow line than Ed. He's actually managed to get a bit better exit than us there out of the second hairpin. Going through the S's, we are still quite close to him, still not far away from being able to go for a move, so I am kind of eyeing up an overtake here, seeing where I can send it up his inside. You've also got his twin brother up ahead, you can see the kart, that's Chris Bridle, who's in the lead of the race, so we're not far off the leaders here. So we've got second right in front of us and first place just up ahead. Going through Garden now, we are right on Ed's back bumper, and now going into centre curve, we're going to take the narrow line, and as we come out of centre curve, we are up the inside of Ed Bridle, going through Cafe Curve now. Are we going to be able to finish the move off? Yes, we are. So at the end of lap 4 now, we are up into second place. Managed to catch up and dispose of Ed then, and now we've got his brother Chris Bridle up ahead. Over the course of the next half of the lap, we managed to reel Chris in too as we speed through this lap 5 of the race. And coming up to Garden now on lap 5, we've got Chris not far up ahead. We got very close to him then in going into Garda. Chris, just like Ed, going around the outside of this corner here. I nickname it Cartship Corner, to be honest. It's called Centre Curve, but I nickname it Cartship Corner. And we're now right behind him as we come out of Cafe Curve. So we really managed to reel in Chris here. Now looking to go up his inside into Conway's, into turn 1. Gonna back out of it though, gonna think better of it. See if we can get past him on exit. No, he's covered us off through Henry's Bend, so we didn't manage to get past Chris there. And he actually sort of stopped us in our tracks as we had to back out of that move there. So lost a little bit of time. Now quite close to him again, going through hairpin 1. You can't quite see him, to be honest, because of that annoying blob on the camera which will not go away, but still got Chris right up ahead. Coming out of hairpin 2 now, he's actually managed to pull away a little bit since the start of that lap. Like I say, we did lose a bit of time through that top bend as we had to back off slightly, as we had to pull out of the move. Coming out of the S's now into Sign Sweep, taking a bit of a narrow line through Sign Sweep. We are now right behind him once more, now coming through Pullman's, and as we go into post 6, we're going to send it up his inside. Are we going to be able to make the move stick? Are we going to be able to pull it off? Let's see if he overtakes us into Gardar. No, he does not. So we are now into the lead of the race. After only 6 minutes of racing, we've managed to go from last to first place, back into the lead of the race for the first time this race. Yeah, managed to get past Chris, and as we move ahead to the end of the race, that was that really for all of the action in the race. We just managed to check off into the distance after that, and as I bring up the race results here, we ended up winning the race by 21 seconds, which I did not expect that going into this race. I didn't even expect to get into the top 2. I thought the Bridles would win. I mean, they're professional race car drivers at the end of the day. At the time, racing in Fun Cup UK. Nowadays, they race in Britcar. They are former owner driver champions. They are supremely talented drivers. And so to catch them up, overtake them, and beat them by 21 seconds in this race, first wet race they've done in a very long time, I was chuffed to pieces with this. Also, shout out to my dad, Terry Battersby, who finished in P5. Only just about got lapped him on the final lap of the race. So for someone who's in their late 50s and who's got arthritis, that is very impressive. It was his first time in a car in forever and a day, his first outing in years. So shout out to my dad. But guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that video. Next up will be the next round of Sub 51. So I got round 2. It's another very good race, so I'm going to bring that to you in the coming days. So like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you all then. So goodbye.